So I want to talk about the interest rate at the moment. Now, if you're watching this on high definition, maybe you'll be able to see what kind of this jumble of numbers is, but I'll take you through it in case you're not or can't or still can't see it probably anyway. What it is, start of the year we started at 0.75%. So 0.75% was our cash rate start of the year. 3rd of March, boom, we went down to 0.5%. 19th of March, boom, down to 0.25%. So, I mean, lowest ever, obviously, we've been having the lowest ever for the last 5, 6, so quite a long time, sort of years. So, anyway, what are we going to see in the future? What does the future hold for interest rates at the moment? ASX futures has it somewhere in between 0 and 0.25. So some people are betting on 0, some people are betting on 0.25 kind of over the next 18 months. These are my thoughts, and the reason why I'm putting it on video is basically so that I can kind of come back to it in years gone by and say, oh, cool, I was right. Or I'll be like, what an idiot. I was very, very wrong. But this is my thoughts on kind of what the RBA might do and sort of where we'll go from here. My thoughts are that at some point we will go down to 0%. So there's certainly a lot of, I mean, as we've already seen from this kind of downward-looking staircase, there's certainly a lot of pressure on putting the interest rates down, basically because the economy is ground to a sort of a standstill because of COVID. Now, COVID, the coronavirus isn't an intrinsic thing to do with the economy. So it's a time where I think the RBA could sit back and say, okay, well, this isn't an intrinsic thing, it's a passing thing, but it's kind of extra sort of crazy on top of what was probably going to be a difficult time for the Australian market anyway. So what we're going to do is something that's kind of extra crazy. A few countries have done it around the world and go into negative rates. I haven't heard anyone talking about this, so this is just me kind of musing and seeing just kind of my thoughts, I suppose, generally. Part of it as well is where we look at kind of the fixed rates are so much lower than the variable rates at the moment, which is just interesting to note. They're not generally that kind of disparate from each other. So what I think will probably happen sometime over the next 3 to 6 months, certainly, we will see ourselves go down to 0%. And I would think by the end of 2021, probably the last quarter, maybe the November meeting, probably the November meeting, I think, we would probably go to negative 0.25. And potentially in 2021 at some point, potentially go down to negative 0.5. Now, I think negative 0.5 would probably be the bottom that we would really look at, and then the bank would kind of kick in, the economy would start firing a little bit better, we'd be a whole lot more efficient. There's a lot more people working from home, I'm sure, at that point as well, and we can kind of start to kind of look to push that back up. But that's where I think we'll probably go over the next couple of years. We'll see if I'm right. It's a crazy kind of idea, but COVID's crazy. So I think that we'll probably do some crazy things with the cash rate. We'll see how we go, see what happens.